Going to attack somebody who is on the other side of the body, don't try to do some weird abomination of it like this, or if you go or try to throw it from the left, it just mechanically you're either going to be twisting your wrists or crossing your arms, in which case you're going to have a really weak structure. You don't want that. Instead, use the exact same blow. Just make sure you step well to the outside over the same target area. Make sense? You're going to use the same blow, either side, going inside or out. Whether you're going to the inside or the outside, if they're on the opposite, if you're on the same side as you, go to the outside. Same blow and everything. Any questions on that? Okay. So for our next trick, I get to teach you guys a new guard. Ooh. But it's not really a guard. It's a guard, but it's not really a guard because it doesn't really guard anything. Anyway. So we've talked about the veer leader. We've got Tog on either shoulder and over the head. We've got Ox, which we've broken with Krumpow. We've got Flute, which we've broken with Shielhow. Oh, we haven't done this one yet. We haven't done Alder yet, but I got one more guard before we get to that one. So this position is another guard that you can use against a low point forward position. In this case, it's like the middle point between both flues. So it's in the middle. It's like in the middle. So think of it about having your sword extended, braced against your arm, holding the pommel against your forearm, and you've got the point at right between your opponent's eyes. So this is the position of Langor or long point. This is a guard. Basically, as you can see here, you're threatening with the point. It's not really, all you're doing is basically having that point as a threat out in front of you to prevent your opponent from just rushing in on you. Basically, in order to get to you at all, they have to move, they have to deal with that sword and that point first, which is what we're going to talk about using shield how to do. So, long point, you can do either foot forward. This is a little more structurally sound with if you're right-handed, with the right foot forward, a little more structurally sound, but you can't do it with the back foot as well. Let's see here, where's my brain going? Okay, so guard position, your edges are you're not quite straight up and down, you're slightly off at like a 45-degree angle with the edge. This is so if there's any edge contact, you can readily resist it, and they can't just pop the side of your blade to displace you. The swords run along the length of your forearm, you're bracing it there with bracing the pommel with your bottom hand. This should be about the same level as your solar plexus, around that area. It is not down here. And I'll tell you the surprise name of this guard that we dubbed later when I'm not being recorded. Anyway, so
I can edit.
Yeah. Okay. So this is long point. This is long dick. Okay. This was pioneered by a student of ours who we couldn't figure out. He liked to sit in long point, but his long point was down here. Henceforth, we had to give it a name. So Langord is up here. All right. So just throw how now we're going to be using shield how to break this guard. Question? You ready?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to throw this on because there's some footwork in this. I don't want to get stabbed in the face. Okay.
Also, like, if the lens connects have Katzbalgers, we can have long dick.
Yeah, I know, but we're not medieval Germans. But, I mean, that's what it is. It is really.
I mean, look, it's been 600 years and dick jokes
okay,
are still funny.
do you want to throw gloves on?
Thank you for making me edit more.
My pleasure.
So circumcision for this particular video.
It's terrible. Also, where do you think of like after that joke?
Okay. So there's a couple of different variations on this. So the first one is, so Pushtis in long point. He's in that defensive position. Obviously I can't come straight at him because, yeah, he's basically pre-charged for a thrust or be able to move that thing and displace me. Displace me wherever he wants, you know. Yeah, he's in an advantageous position, so I need to get him out of that position or I need to break it. So we need to break the guard. So we're gonna use shield how to do that. So what I'm going to do on this one, so we're gonna do on this one, there's a couple of different plays to do on this. We can kind of do what we've done before, where we throw the blow, displace the point, and make a strike at the face. We can also use it to strike at the hands, which I'm gonna do that one. So just to show you the shot to the face, I'm just gonna use the basic shield how to come in, displace his point, keep control, and strike the face. The other version of this, if I make that if I do see that play, or he's anyway, same play. The other one I can do if he's a little tricky with that point. Can you show them the serpent's tongue, please?
Sure, you go.
Go for it. Yeah, show them the serpent's tongue. There we go. Yeah, he's dipping his point back. He's keeping his point in motion, so I don't have a stable point in space where I can just. Yeah, I'm dead.
I'm a bitch.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so I don't have a stable point in space to do that, to deal with that. So one of the ways I can deal with that is by being a little tricky with the shield house. So what I can do is I can make it look like I'm batting at his point, like he would expect me to, because he's being playful with that. He's pulling back and forth. He's dipping. So what I can do instead is make it look like I'm going to there, and then as soon as I get here, turn it into that shield house. Oh, I didn't mean to catch the outside of your blade, but that'll work.
Yeah, how do you want me to kind of
Just, yeah, keep playing with that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw, so when I throw there, yeah, so I'm throwing this as a failer. So I'm throwing this to fake him out to get him to commit to a defensive action. And once he does that,
there we go.
yeah, I'm coming around, I'm completing the shield how and coming around the other side. But what I'm targeting instead of his face is I'm actually gonna be targeting his hands. So as I come in, he's moving with that point. I throw this, as soon as I see commitment on that, yep, come in, snap the hands. So I don't necessarily want to get closer to him, especially if I don't have a good grasp on his blade, because maybe I end up on the outside. Let me throw my mask on for this one. So, there I go. Here's plan, throw that, black. So, I threw that, I got a commitment, I got a stable, basically he committed to some kind of defensive action or a point in space he was gonna stay.
Maybe come closer.
And then I threw my shield how, I targeted his hands. I tried to stay as far away as possible so he's not in a position where he can counteract me.
Let's do it again like slow speed.
Okay, we'll do it at slow speed.
Yeah, I know how to set it up. I'll basically do my
Yeah.
my snake top
Yeah.
a little bit slower. So here we are. So I'm basically, he's trying to catch me.
Okay.
And
Throw there.
between.
No, he's not, you need to give me a stable commitment.
Okay, sure.
Come here, go
Yeah.
there, boom, tight the hands.
Because I'm on the curve.
Yeah, so he's thinking I'm trying to do this. So if he just holds still, he's thinking I'm trying to make him believe I'm doing this, so that I can come in.
Yeah.
So he's dipping around. When I see that, then
Boom.
I roll the blade over and I tag his hands. I'm trying to stay as far away from him as possible, because if I miss, he's in somewhat of a spent position here. So if he wants to get me, he's gonna have to step. I've still got room to step and be able to redress the line and be able to defend myself there. So at least I have a good chance of getting out of there alive. This is a hand snipe, but it's one way you can deal with this. And as I said, if you're dealing with a stable Langward, you're just gonna do the shield how as usual, go for the head. If you're dealing with somebody who likes to move around like that, you're gonna throw the failer, get them to commit, and then tag the hand. Make sense?
This one's a little situational because
Yeah.
you have to wait for them to commit because they're not attacking, they're committing. They're committing to an evasive action.
Well, also, just for a safety sake, if you're thinking about this, well, what if, because this always runs through people's heads, I know it runs through my head constantly, and that's the whole anxiety of, well, what if they ... Okay, if Koist's okay, if just for a gross example, if Koist's got his point on me, and he lifts his blade up in the air, if he lifts his sword over his head like he's gonna cut down on me, am I pretty safe to go in there while he's pulling his sword backwards like that? You say it's a pretty safe bet for me to just shoot in there and get him?
Probably not.
I mean, on the side.
Why?
Why?
It seems like a good way for both of you to die.
But is it a safe thing to do in that moment as the blade is
think about it
going?
like this. Okay, I lift my sword up in the air, that's a time.
Yeah.
I bring my sword back down, that's a time. He lifts his sword in the air, I attack him, that's in the same time.
By the time I bring it down, he's
Yeah,
out.
he has to do another time, which means he's moving slower.
So while I'm dipping my thing, I'm
Yeah.
not attacking.
Yeah,
with that.
when he's moving his sword to avoid my fake out, or actually if he doesn't move his sword and I make contact, hey, even better, follow through. But if he moves, his blade's committed to that movement, and then I can go and throw my attack in there, and if I miss for whatever reason, he has to follow up with a step, come at me, I can still step to get away from him and increase the space and time that I have.
The reason it's safe because my wrists are busy doing this, right? I can't do like both that and that at the same.
You can't pull the blade forward and you can't pull the blade backward.
Because I'm busy doing this.
Yeah, you can't move backward and forward at the same time. Make sense? Time, space,
Yeah.
all that. So whenever I move away from him, I'm increasing the space, which means I'm increasing the time it takes. If I move towards him, I'm shrinking the space and I'm shrinking the time. Same kind of thing here. If he pulls his blade away from me, he's increasing the time it takes him to come back at me with that same blade. So that gives me an opening, that gives me a window to attack him. It's the same deal here.
That means step back when you do that kind of stuff. If you're gonna
Yeah.
pull the blade out, step back.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about the funnel, where you can do bigger actions from further away because you've got the time and distance to do it. Whereas if I'm here, this is a big action, this is a small action. He's gonna beat me with a punch. Same kind of thing here. Does that make sense? I know that's a lot to dump on people, but I mean, I think it's a good example to explain it. Anyway, let's play with that. So we're gonna do both of those plays. So we'll do the first one where you have a static Langhorn. You're just gonna use shuttle how, displace, whack the face. And then you've got tricky Langhorn where they're dipping back and forth, moving the point around. You're gonna start to throw a failure. You're gonna target the tip of their sword on purpose. And as soon as you see that thing move, finish your shield how, tag the hand. If that makes sense.
It makes sense to me. It's
Okay, any questions? I know it's a little long drawn out and all that stuff, but that tends to be how my brain works, since it just kind of shotguns out.